Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest, use the other finger that time, action figure video podcast. That completely threw me off. Why did I go left-handed? I always go right-handed. Alright, this show's already off the rails. Let's talk toys. Let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. And on today's show, left finger again. Is Sasha Banks returning to WWE? Ezra Miller says they're sorry. And there's a new Spider-Girl swinging through the UK. But as you know, here at Model Behaviour, action figures always come first.
Or sometimes not at all.
So let's talk about them. First off, we're going to open up with McFarlane DC Multiverse. They are tackling Arkham City. And this is kind of cool, because Arkham City is pretty much largely understood as the best Arkham game. Mainly because it is. Fight me. But you won't, because it's not even subjective. It is the best Arkham game. And now they're doing action figures to go with it. And we got some nice ones to start with. First of all, Arkham City Batman. Just what you would expect. It's a Batman wave. Of course it's going to have Batman. Usually a couple. But this is a great representation of Batman from Arkham City. I think they have already done an Arkham City Batman, so I don't know if this is a re-release or reissue, maybe tarted up a little bit, but still, it's kind of essential. So you can pick this one up, and a lot of people do say that this is the nicest looking Batman, and I can understand that, because it's kind of got that gothic-y, big pointy ear kind of design, but then with the more modern tech kind of look. It's definitely nailing that sweet spot of Batman. Very, very cool, but that's not all. They also showed us Penguin, and I thought the Penguin design from Arkham City was kind of weird, but sort of cool. He's got like a weird bottle-like monocle in his eye. He looks pretty gruesome, and I'm just racking my brains here, and I can't think of another McFarlane Penguin. Not saying there isn't one, just saying I can't think of it. So help me out if I'm wrong there. Then also, a lot of people should be happy. We're getting Catwoman. And Catwoman's design, again, one of the reasons Arkham City was kind of cool, they hit that sweet spot. Design style, they just hit that comfortable, yeah, this is how it should look. This is a modern looking Catwoman that still kind of harkens back to the classic kind of Julie Newmar Eartha Kitt kind of look. I really, really like it. So that's a cool looking Catwoman. And finally, they got Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, or however you would like to pronounce it. Is it Ra's or Raz? I hear it differently in different official versions, so I don't know, jury's out. I don't even really care that much. I mean, he's not visually the most exciting character, but he is very important to the Batman mythos, and it was fun to sword fight against him in Arkham City, so that's another one there. We will probably get a couple more, because this is going to be a Build-A-Figure wave, but we don't know what the Build-A-Figure is going to be. So there's a lot of speculation there. Some people are saying Clayface, but we just got a mega fig of Clayface, so I don't know. I don't think so. The other big one is Solomon Grundy. That could work. Born on a Monday, released sometime in Q4 this year, most likely. But that could be good. I don't think there's any other Solomon Grundy figures from McFarlane. Stop me if I'm wrong. So that could work if that's the case. Solomon Grundy seems like the safe bet, and I guess we'll find out, well, pretty damn soon. Hasbro Pulse did their Transformers live stream reveal thingamajig. And you know me, I love the Transformers brand, but I get a little lost with the different figures and where they're from and this and that. They announced a whole bunch, so I'm just going to rattle them off. Want to hear them? Here it goes. So first of all, we got Transmetal Megatron, and I do know who this is, of course, and he looks pretty cool. I do love the dragon Megatron sort of design. Very, very wicked. Then we've also got Predacon Inferno, who was the Fire Ant, but then after him, we're going over to the Armada universe with Armada Starscream. Then after that, we got a Generations Legacy Dead End. And then also sticking with Generations Legacy, we got a Generations Legacy Deluxe Crankcase? Was that it? I think it was Crankcase. I might have misspelt that. And then autocorrect might have turned it into Crankcase. We'll see when I double check myself. Then after that, there's Point Blank and Peacemaker. This was weird because I could only see one picture of a bot. And I'm sure that there are Transformers fans rolling their eyes going, no, Dave, the head is Peacemaker. Okay, whatever. Nerds. And then after that, we got one that I do have a big nostalgic love for, and that is Skullgrin. If I was going to be tempted to buy any of these, Skullgrin would be the one, because I used to have the classic original, and this harkens back to it in such a wonderful way. I could be tempted. Then there's also the Maximal Dinobot, and then finally there's the Predacon Pterosaur. And that's all of them. They're on Hasbro Pulse now. If you're a Transformers fan, go get them! Sticking with McFarlane DC, Walmart have a couple of sneaky little exclusives that have been popping up. There is a Dark Flash, who I'm guessing that's from the Blackest Night. Looks like a zombie Flash. Is that right? Anyone? No, I'm talking to myself. Looks like a zombie Flash from Darkest Night. And also there is a comic book Shazam. So there is a nice, pretty, classic looking Shazam, and that's kind of cool. I had King Shazam for a while. Was it King Shazam? The Jokerized one. He looked pretty gnarly, pretty cool, but actually just a nice, beautiful, golden age classic Shazam. He looks really nice. Super 7 have debuted Wave 8 of their TMNT line, and there are some weird, wacky, bizarre, bonkers looking creations in here, and actually I kind of dig some of them, just for the ludicrousness. So first of all, we have Shredder, and this is just a classic sort of looking Shredder, really, from his 1980s original kind of toy. We're talking bare chest Shredder, and I always thought that was weird as a kid, that the toys didn't really resemble the cartoon characters that much. That frustrated a little 8-year-old Dave, but still, I do remember how he looked in Super 7. They've done a modern interpretation. It's a pretty good version. Then we got Space Raphael, which is just ridiculous, ludicrous, and bonkers. This came out originally, right at the end of the Turtles line, where they were like, what can we do that we haven't done? Let's send him to space. It's good enough for Jason Voorhees and the Leprechaun. We'll throw the Turtles in space. So that's a weird, wacky, nostalgic bit of nonsense, really. Then there's one I really like, which is Robot Rocksteady. Just as a big, weird, campy, ridiculous cyber character, that he looks really fun. He looks really fun. He's going to be more expensive, but still, it's funny to see this represented here. I just think that looks really, really cool. And finally, there's Genghis Frog. And yeah, this was like, why am I telling you the history of these characters? If you're watching this, you kind of know. Yeah, it was like just extra characters in the cartoon. Duh. Sometimes I'm a wealth of useless knowledge. So each one of these guys is going to be $55, except for Robot Rocksteady, who with the extra chonk, it's going to be $65, and they are all going to be released around about summertime next year, so start saving. Over to NECA now, we have a reveal of Toony Terrors Series 7. And there are some nice little deep cuts, some bizarre little choices in here that I kind of like. If you're a horror fan of the 80s growing up, yeah, this is definitely going to heat that sweet spot. Sweet that heat spot. Swat that swing swong. First of all, we have Teen Wolf from Teen Wolf 2, I think, the Scott Howard version. I think it's from the sequel. And then they've got an alien from They Live, which is just a absolute classic. Then we got Killer Clowns from Out of Space, Shorty. Then after him, there's going to be Beauty of Horror, Ghouliana. I have no idea who that is. And then after that, finally, we get another Killer Clowns, but this time a 2-pack with Slim and Chubby. And these guys are all going to be released in the first quarter of next year. Storm Collectibles have shown a full image set reveal of Geese Howard from King of the Fighters 98. This was originally shown in Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con this year. And now they're like, you like what you see? Want to see some more? Well, here it goes. And yeah, I'm not a big King of the Fighters guy. That one kind of passed me by. Always more of a Street Fighter kind of person myself. However, this guy looks kind of nice. I mean, it's everything you would expect from Storm Collectibles. And I've seen a lot of people being like, oh wow, yes, Geese Howard. So there's definitely a market there for him. Again, as always with Storm, I'm like, stop making more lines. Just finish Mortal Kombat, finish Street Fighter. But having said that, also, I'm not that fussed about Mortal Kombat. I'm kind of getting out of the Mortal Kombat game. I don't know, sort of losing the love for old MK. But still, the ones I'm keeping, I do think they're cool. And this guy looks really great. So if you're a King of the Fighters person, he's going to be up for pre-order pretty soon. Sticking with McFarlane, but going over to Warhammer, they've shown full images and details of their Ogrin figure from their Dark Tide tie-in line. And this guy is he's a big chunky boy. I think he looks kind of cool. He looks more animated than I think some of their other characters. It might just be because we actually get a face, a human-looking face, whereas most of the Warhammer figures are either aliens, orcs, or masked space marines. So this is one of, I'm not going to say it's the first one that I can remember of a human-looking visage, and it looks fun. It doesn't look like photorealistic, but maybe it shouldn't. To fit the Dark Tide design, it actually works pretty well. So as a big, chunky looking, fun kind of figure, yeah, this actually looks pretty cool. I was seeing him thinking like, man, that could be a nice little Cosmic Legions edition there. I'm not sure how well he'd scale, but hey, time will tell. Hopefully we might be getting some more Cosmic Legions information pretty soon. I think it's the end of this year they're supposed to drop, and when they do, I'm gonna be an excited boy. But this guy probably will beat Cosmic Legions to the drop, because he's going to be hitting around about October this year, so not too long to wait, and he's going to retail for about $40. Just in the little curiosity category, I thought I'd show you some pictures of ZD's Venom toy. Now, this is obviously an unofficial Venom figure, and it's just one of those extra third-party ones that is kind of fun to show off. Looks a lot like the Marvel Legends Monster Venom, basically, with, maybe a little bit taller. He's about 9 inches, and got some extra hand weapons and accessories. Again, there's a lot of different third-party companies that make these little unofficial things, and sometimes it's nice to showcase them because they look kind of pretty. I don't have any more release information or anything like that. Just sometimes these pictures pop up and it's fun to showcase them. Big news now. Whew! Thank goodness. The window to order and back the G.I. Joe classified HISS Tank is done. It's closed, it's finished, and this guy did not order it. Whew, it was a close call. My finger was, I was like, no. We went full on Evil Dead. It was like, no. I was so tempted. I mean, 4 figures, a limited edition Cobra Commander in classic costume. The tank itself looked great. I was like, but no, I didn't need it. And we've got the Marvel Legends. We've got the Marvel Legends Haslab reveal coming up real soon. I think it must be any day now they're gonna announce it, because I'm sure they were waiting for the HISS Tank to close. They were like, no, let's not have competing Haslabs, because that never seems to fare well for at least one of them. The Star Wars team are like, do you think? So yeah, now that this is closed, hopefully we'll get the Ghost Rider Haslab reveal, because that's going to be an exciting time. But for all of you guys who ordered your HISS tanks, and I know a lot of you ordered multiples, the wait is on now, and I'm sure in a year's time, you're going to be very happy with your decision. And now for some other multimedia type news. I've got my different channel displaying Miscellaneous Behaviour, where I cover these things in more depth. But just to give you a little idea of what I talk about on there, first of all, we've got a new Spider UK. We've got the end of the Spider-Verse wave story coming up soon. And they're introducing more Spider characters from a different universe. We're getting a new Spider UK. I think she looks really cool. I have a lot of other thoughts on her. If you want to hear them, go over to displaying Miscellaneous Behaviour. But I thought I'd show her off here. And speaking of my other channel, I also have a little feature on Ezra Miller, probably one of the most controversial characters in comic book movie world right now. Been acting a little bit unusual, and he's come out, or they've come out, and issued an apology, basically, and said that they are getting treatment and they are not well. And it's kind of good to hear someone at least kind of understanding this and saying, hey, we're taking steps. Want to hear my full thoughts? Well, go on over to the other channel. And speaking of other channels, because there is a third with Model Behaviour Wrestling, where I talk about the potential return of Sasha Banks to the WWE. Now that the bizarre, bonkers old diddle of Vince McMahon has been outed and Triple H is in charge, it seems like a more welcoming environment for people, and there's a good chance, if rumours would be believed, that Sasha Banks is going to be coming back. I, for one, would quite like to see that. But More news on that over at Model Behaviour Wrestling. And finally, one of the oldest action figures ever made has been unearthed in Guatemala, 1,500 years old. This little figurine was unearthed and dug up. You know it's an action figure because it actually has a removable helmet. How cool is that? I just think that's so fun. You can imagine Todd McFarlane looking at it going, "Oh, I had no idea how to make action figures back then. They could have made a completely separate one with the helmet off and sold it twice. No wonder they went out of business." But yeah, that's a fun little story to wrap things up on. 1,500 years old. That's kind of cool. Hopefully in 1,500 years' time, people will still be watching this show. And I'll still be making it as a little head in a jar, Futurama style. Who knows? You dream a dream. Actually, that would be awful. Let's not do that. But AI Dave. That would be fun. Okay, yeah, there you go. We'll go for the AI version. All right, guys. Thanks very much for watching. This is a bit off the rails today. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to go one step beyond in supporting the channel, then you can go over to patreon.com/displaying model behavior and throw a few bucks Dave's way. Or you can get yourself a YouTube channel membership. How about that? Very nice. Yes. Or you can check out Dave's other channels, displaying miscellaneous behavior and model behavior wrestling. Oh, and go and buy a t-shirt. Not enough people are buying t-shirts. That makes Doom angry. Doom's wearing a t-shirt under your armor here. You can't see it, but I'm wearing one. It looks great. Go buy one yourself. All right, that'll do.